gonna mail this tomorrow, I got the signed stuff from the surveyor.
Okay,
So I'll just put this and my stuff together and mail it.
perfect.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
You suppose?
It's a lot easier getting here when you're living there. I must have got through that school, you know, couldn't take a
Before,
right before all the chaos.
was
That
free
makes
now.
that makes a 15-minute difference.
What's up again, 51?
Hey,
How are you, sir?
It's not like schools on.
We're here.
yeah, coming around the loop. through the-
Oh, Hoodville?
Yeah.
You're fighting B schools.
Hmm?
You're fighting B schools.
Yeah, not maybe one of the last ones on time because all the
School traffic. Yeah, that school traffic is crazy.
They changed the time, it's like an extra, I think 8 minutes later. They get out and they start 8 minutes later.
maybe that's how I got like.
Out here, oh, it's terrible. Trying to get in here during certain times of the day is just, oh yeah, you're afraid you're gonna run over.
It was nice that they fixed the Taco Bell entrance.
Yeah. Well, out here,
Now they flipped it, so now
you've got this
everything's
turn
going
lane,
up.
you've got this turn lane out here that's going that way, but people don't realize it's a one-way turn lane. They think you should pull into that lane and turn in here.
Mhm.
You can. Of course, we see people who do it.
Yeah, we
We've seen
do.
wrecks out there because they'll pull right into it, try to turn
It's
in here.
blind coming on top.
Mhm.
I guess.
There used to be a guy, every morning, me and him came to work at the same time. And he would blow the horse and give finger every morning, point at that lane. Finally, I guess he figured it out because he quit doing it.
Isn't it awesome?
I'm pulling it out, let's get our head on it.
That's where Hugh got ran over.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're trying to get out of here, you gotta, you get a chance, you better go.
How are you?
Nope, you did not.
That's the discussion over, I was just having a moment ago, school traffic.
5 minutes, one word, really makes a world of difference.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Jay?
Really, how are you today?
Who do they come to?
Canfield. I think, Temple Four.
No, he usually comes rolling in right. Right.
I mean,
But you can start without him being
you gotta wait for all the kids to get out there and all that, we're in locked doors. You got all the big roll up doors, you got locked down.
When did he go back to work?
Been over a year, huh?
You know, he did his work last.
I don't even know.
You mentioned it last time. Oh, he did? Not before. He got done. Just one.
They did.
Retired, then he went.
Oh, he's welding up there, he's showing them how to weld. Oh, yeah, I remember.
Thank you, ma'am. Uh-huh.
What is it? I just turned it down.
Yeah, it,
Yes, ma'am.
it bored me. I started doing it.
Otherwise it'll get hot in here real quick.
Yep, turn it down. Just no here.
That's fine.
It's okay.
I'm the one that's ready.
I'm fine.
Well, he can, the one that's gonna get you. I call this meeting Walnut Creek Special Utility District to order at 4 P M. Let the record show that quorum is 4. Board of Directors is present. This meeting has been duly called and that the notice for the meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551.
Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for the people here, Lord, and to help us all make good decisions. and To be fair about the whole situation, Lord. And bless all of our families and all of our friends. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Your ears burning, huh?
Oh, yes. Yeah, good subject, y'all talk about that.
Can we amend the minutes to 5 instead of 4 now? Good.
I'm good, let's roll, baby, don't hold up on me.
All right, we'll have the open forum now. Ms. Jane Galvan has signed up to speak.
Good afternoon, everyone that came. My name is Jane Galvin. I live at 128 Clayton Crossing, Springtown. I have just a couple of things that I need to cover, especially since I wasn't here last month. I find it very disappointing to find that an email I sent on Thursday, July 17th, to request 6 vital water district customer requests that had been sent to me from water district customers for further information on the state of the infrastructure and board GM decisions still has not been added to the board's agenda. It just doesn't make any sense why the board continues to violate the Texas Open Meeting Act, Section 8, number C, A and B rights of the public instead of adding the items to the next board meeting. My next thing that I've been talking about since July of 2023. And it takes a long time to try to get to the bottom of why we can't supply the needed amount of water when the quantity of water is there. The lake is doing well. We can't seem to get out of stage 2 because of mechanical issues at the booster pump level. I finally received a list of the booster pumps and their location. I was very dismayed to find that the daily requirement of water being pushed through them is not very consistent. In fact, y'all sent me a spreadsheet that went all the way back to 2020. It's a mess. It's just a mess. So we're $40 million into a bond, and we still have booster pumps that cannot push the required amount of water, even though we're not using all of the water we're entitled to use out of Lake Bridgeport. It makes no sense. Other districts, water districts, whether they're MUDs or munis, they don't have this issue. I fail to understand how 35% in growth doesn't encourage you to get this problem fixed. It impacts the value of our homes. That's all I have today.
Consent agenda items, information on these items have been sent to the board of directors for review prior to the meeting. Any director may pull any item from the consent agenda without a second for deliberation prior to consideration. Any item pulled may be considered with the business items on the agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve it.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? The motion passes. Next item is public hearing. Public hearing to discuss the formation of the Public Utility Agency. We are going to discuss that, and we will start that hearing at 4:06 right now. This is an open hearing, so anyone who wishes to speak may speak at will.
Anybody want to speak out there?
Oh, I have lots to say. What makes this different than the previous attempt earlier this year when it was voted down by the House? What's going to be different?
It doesn't require their vote.
Other than that,
It's the same
The-
thing. We're still working on getting more water. We're still working on building another water plant and bringing water in from the northeast from the Upper Trinity Surface Water District, not groundwater districts.
that's a contract with the Upper Trinity,
Yeah,
right?
we would bring, we've already spoke with them, and we will build a plant also on Eagle Mountain Lake. Both of these things to bring water more into the Wise County part, which will also benefit our Parker County, because if we have more water down there, we get to keep more water up here. Also, when those cities start to get water down there from the same PUA, they won't buy water from us, we'll have more water keeping in our district.
But that's not until a water treatment plant is built on the north end of
We're looking
Eagle
at
Mountain
about
Lake.
5 years down the road.
5 years. So the contracts that are in place right now with Boyd, Paradise, Rome, Reno, those will stay in place.
Yes,
And I noticed that last month there was an increase in the water rate to Boyd.
yes, ma'am.
So what is the benefit to a Walnut Creek SUD customer when it comes to issuing bonds for not a water treatment plant, but for wastewater? Because you don't currently handle
Yes, ma'am.
anything with wastewater.
And we still won't. We will not be, the way this is set up, only the entities that receive benefit from whatever bonds are being taken out, say wastewater bonds to build a wastewater plant, they're the only ones who pay in on those.
Where is that in this document? I didn't see that.
It's.
Can you point that out?
I may not be able to, I'll be honest with you, but I know that is the way it is set up.
You talking about treatment?
Water treatment
Yes.
plant, well, no, the wastewater treatment plants.
Third sentence,
Whereabouts?
fifth word in, third sentence down, fifth word in, on page 106. Oh,
You talking about the ordinance?
yeah.
I think that was issued.
So is that in writing somewhere?
Yes, ma'am, it is, and I will get it to you, because it is in writing, because we made sure when we had these meetings, because there are more than just Walnut Creek who are not gonna be involved in the sewer part of this, the wastewater
Right.
part of this,
Right.
and,
Shouldn't
It
this
will be-
ordinance have been posted?
shouldn't what?
Shouldn't this ordinance have been posted?
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Says
I went
it's
on the
proper.
website, there's nothing
Is it
there.
proper notice?
It's been in the newspaper for the last 2 weeks.
Is
it-
It's public
We
hearing.
put it in the newspapers.
But is the full
No.
6 pages in there?
No. it's
No,
not
what we were,
required.
we were
Okay,
simply
I'm just
required by the law.
Yeah, it's not
The,
required.
the most information,
The public hearing had to be in the newspaper for 2 weeks.
the most information, well, the only ad that I saw in the Springtown Epigraph was in the Azle newspaper was last week. I called to find out when y'all had, and they told me last week was the first time you had placed an advertisement.
It's been in there
She
2
has the
weeks.
receipts.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just bringing it to your attention. They didn't know that. I gathered actually more information from the Decatur, a Wise County Messenger, when Decatur's City Council brought it before their council for a
Yes.
vote and discussion. A lot of details are missing, like the wastewater treatment.
And all of those things will be in the bylaws, is what they'll be in, when the bylaws are written.
And isn't it important for the public, especially Walnut Creek water customers, to see and receive those bylaws, put them on the
The
website?
problem is, until the entity is formed, there's not a board to put the bylaws down.
So we're voting on something that the bylaws haven't been written for yet.
You are very correct. They've been worked on, but they're not
I
written
understand,
complete.
well, obviously, since, when was it, February or March? Y'all went down and
Oh, yeah.
testified.
Yeah, April. when I-
April? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while. So you basically took the format from that.
Part of it, yes, ma'am.
So is the I know, I'm trying not to rattle all over the place.
You're fine.
Is the developer that was originally part of that group on the board, gonna be on the board?
Rolling V will have, yes, they will have a board member.
And y'all don't have a problem with that?
Well, it's the only way it would happen. The state of Texas still has their say in this, and Wise County still has their say.
And there's a lot of money being passed around because of that, because that is a huge development.
It is, but they only have one board member. They wanted two, we made a concession for one.
So if we have a board member that's a developer that's on there,
Because they have a mud.
right, but section
The-
7, it says any director can be removed from office at any
Yeah.
time with or without cause.
Yes,
So,
but no,
and then.
so the way that works is a director can, but it's still, they have to have another director from there. Like say, if our director is removed, we have to have another director from Walnut Creek. If they have a director moved, they have to have another director from their entity.
But also then section 10 says they can hire whoever they want, but there's no conflict of interest.
They could put their brother on there, because it
No,
doesn't,
no, I don't know about, brother.
Oh.
I'm talking about.
family
I'm
member.
talking on, with this situation here, they can hire any contractor, accountant, general manager, anybody
Oh, right.
to complete the tasks for this organization.
Well, yeah, it's just like a board here.
Right, but they can hire their own extension of their arm, there's no conflict of interest. Can you point me where it says conflict of interest in this document?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a conflict of interest, but conflict of interest laws will still apply. I mean, there are laws against that. So they would still apply.
Within section 3, I'm sorry to bounce around, section 3, if you guys want to follow on page 2, the very last 3 words, it says section 11 below. It determines how an extra board member can be added to the district. So say Springtown, Reno, or another organization wants to join. When you go back to section 11 in this ordinance, it has nothing to deal with about adding another director. It just says about open meetings. It's missing that information entirely. And I don't see that information in this document anywhere.
Proposed change or amended regarding appointed method, number, or term of director shall require amendment to this ordinance to describe each on the left.
Where is that in the handout? I don't
It's
see.
not, it's the ordinance itself.
Okay,
Just the board
shouldn't,
members have the ordinance,
but shouldn't we receive that since we're voting, we're part of this?
not until it's approved and then it'll be public record.
Well, that's a concern, what Mr. Roy is bringing up.
Section 11 is missing that information entirely.
At the meeting, we still-
Section 11 is missing.
What section, where it's in section 3. In section 3, on the very last bit, it says you have a board of directors added to, additional to this district. In other words, you have all these other organizations, Wise County, Alabama, Boyd, Bridgeport. If you want to add, let's say Springtown wants to join this group. Section, it says, see section 11. There's nothing in here for section 11 on how that happens. It's missing.
I think it should have been section 12.
Okay.
We'll get that fixed.
I mean, this was written by their attorney.
I know, I mean, it has to be corrected in order to be voted
Yes,
on.
I understand.
Well, it can be voted on with that correction once it's made, but you can still vote on that.
I think I would agree with that. It clearly should have been section 12.
Yes, it should.
I'm just pointing out errors within the
Sure.
document. that
Can you
need-
make that now? Good catch.
You know, this is kind of hard when I'm only looking at a couple of pages and not the whole thing. So Walnut Creek is gonna put up $80,000
Yes, ma'am.
because we have the most
The most
land mass.
Most land mass and the most growth,
And pardon?
and the most growth, percentage-wise, overall.
So what's the benefit to wait 5 years?
Because-
What makes this beneficial for the water district customers over the next 5 years at best? At best.
I'll be honest, nothing's gonna happen within 5 years.
So we remain exactly where we're at, waiting for this.
I mean, we keep working with TRWD and hoping we can, and we're putting more pumps in. You were asking about the pumps earlier, those are still not finished, so we can't.
Exactly, yeah.
Uh,
2023, they went in, let's see, the first bond was issued the first project was issued in January of 2024. And at that point in time, if I look back at the notes, it said 8 years before all of this would be fixed. And here we are, 3 years later, and we're still doing paddling upstream. So is the investment going to be worth it between now and 5 years, is what you're saying? What is it going to improve for Walnut Creek Water District
so
customers?
this is not an immediate improvement. This is a over time improvement. Because honestly, if we don't do this, in 5 years, we're gonna be in worse shape than we are. We're not gonna have an option for more water.
On the water intake, if that plant is created, do we get guarantees that intake?
TRWD has already been working with us where to put a plant.
Well, the plant's not a problem, it's the intake.
Well, where we would put the plant is where the intake would be. And then we're looking at the other side of the lake, over close to where the old, power
Electrical
plant
power
used to be. Yes,
station
ma'am.
was,
And the way it would work, we would actually be one of the first beneficiaries of it. When it comes to,
and how much would that cost Walnut Creek?
as far as,
Helping to put in the infrastructure of the pumping system, the water treatment plant?
the bonds haven't been worked out yet, I don't have that answer.
So that's a question, the bonds, because this is not a taxing entity, you can only issue bonds, just like Walnut Creek. So, let's just throw a number out there, say it's $50 million. At what point does that 50 million get parsed out to all of the entities, which then gets parsed out to the water district customers in the form of our water rates?
Well, until those are worked together, until the bonds are put together so we know how much they are, at that point, then they start to parcel it out.
So we don't know that yet. We don't have an idea of
I
how much
don't
all that
have
would cost?
I don't have that number at all yet. They're looking at, the plant is probably gonna cost, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's around 28 million.
Okay, 28 million.
I don't have that number on me right this moment. It's varied as they talk. The last I heard it was around 28.
Well, it only took Walnut Creek less than 10 months to raise our rates once the first project was let from the $40 million bond, which I also have on recording being told by a former board member, our rates would not be affected by the 40 million. So we can assume that the same thing is going to happen. Once the first bonds are let or sold, then those rates, those costs are going to be parsed out to every entity that's part of this, correct?
Correct.
Will the, since Walnut Creek is the largest share, will we then be expected to absorb the largest amount?
Not necessarily, because it goes by how much we're benefiting off that plant at that time. So if the first part, we're only gonna receive X millions of gallons, then we're not gonna be paying anything else if they're all receiving the same amount.
And so if we're not drawing the top of what we can draw from Lake Bridgeport right now, and we went through this summer without doing that, right? I think we've probably done that for the last couple of years. We haven't gone to the max that TRWD is allowed. Then where is the benefit? Other than the fact that we all know Lake Bridgeport, what happened this year might not happen for 10 more years. We don't know. We don't have a crystal ball.
That's true.
However, and it is in the driest area of TRWD's service pool. So if we're not going to the top of our contract with TRWD, how is it benefiting Walnut Creek Water District customers to buy into building another water treatment plant that's gonna cost 28 million when we haven't even maxed out Bridgeport?
No, but we will. This is not about right this moment. This is about looking toward the future. Otherwise, we end up with even worse problems in the future if we don't start bringing in water now, if we don't find these solutions now.
I don't doubt that. Texas has got a water issue. I totally understand that. What they've done with Eagle Mountain Lake, we've talked about this probably ad nauseum for the past 2 years. And the huge, pipeline that they put in
Yes, ma'am.
to bring water in. I get it. And Tarrant County is driving that. We could benefit from that. And I don't want to go back and re-argue history, but I understand planning for the future.
Yes,
But the bonds are going to be approved and sold way before we benefit from that. So I would think it would be beneficial before any of these entities vote to go ahead and do all of this without putting everything in writing. So every water district customer, whether it's Fairview or Rome or Boyd, it doesn't matter. We need to know what the financial impact to us is going to be. Because there are people in your water district that cannot afford their water bill right now. They're struggling to pay a $700 water bill. And they're trying to play by the rules. So I'm trying to get an idea. Somebody's going to ask me, so what's it going to cost me? And I'm going to go, I don't know. I haven't put it on paper yet. That's not a,
I don't know what happened. I was reading online with you guys, sorry.
that's okay.
My bad.
In the corporate world, that wouldn't fly at all. You've got to let the people that are going to pay for this know or have a good idea in a budgetary format. This is what we're looking at. It could change, plus or minus, that's what that's for. When the bonds are issued. And will the bonds be issued in 2 years? 2 months?
We'll start working on the issuance of the bonds, yes, as soon as the board is put together. The first board meeting would be in January.
The impact of those bonds on the customer would be evaluated upon that time, 4 years from now, whatever. And it could be passed, could not pass, based on the information you're just talking about. It would be known at that time and it wouldn't pass if it didn't apply to the customer's needs appropriately.
But won't TCEQ have purview over these bonds, just like Walnut Creek?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, TCEQ's not gonna deny those bonds. If it's and I'm not saying it's not a viable solution for the long term. It's about what it's gonna cost when those bonds are issued. You can't build the first pipeline or water treatment plant or put in, anything until you have the money, and this is a non-taxing entity. So the only money you're gonna have are bonds. What I don't want to see happen, and as well as 15,000 plus meters that Walnut Creek has, to see 10 months later or 9 months later, our water rates go up because we're now on the hook for a portion, it sounds like a lion's portion of the bond, simply because of the size and the investment by Walnut Creek. We have a big stake in this, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we did.
Can I ask why
It's the timing of it, that's what I'm trying to get to.
didn't Springtown join this?
Springtown gets plenty of water, they can meet their growth rates at this point for the next 10 years. So at this point, they're not. And I heard, and now Mike Kelly has came to some of the meetings.
Okay.
But they
I know it's a
haven't
new
shown
administration
interest.
over there, I was just wondering why didn't they join?
That, you know, they haven't shared that with me, so I can't answer that question.
Can't they piggyback off of some water being
I guess they could buy.
from,
They
Eagle
can-
Mountain
they
Lake?
can Buy,
They can buy, right?
They could buy it like Boyd is buying it from us.
yeah.
Because they only have deep water wells. And
I'm sorry,
they only have deep water wells,
Springtown?
Springtown.
No,
No, they have a
No.
water plant on Eagle Mountain Lake. I used to
On
run-
Eagle Mountain Lake, okay. I knew Eagle Mountain Lake was in there somewhere, but they also have deep water wells, correct?
Yes. They have
That are not doing well from what I've been told. But, so is there a plan to allow other municipalities like Springtown and Azle in on this?
Well, I mean, I think that's where it says right here on section 3, is that, that's where I was,
Yeah, I don't have that.
right, you don't have that information, but that's the information I was looking at, it has the wrong, how to join, the wrong section.
But yes, there are provisions for others to join it.
To join it.
Yes, ma'am. And then there are also provisions for others to buy from it. And
Well, I would think, yeah. I
But
would
how
think.
there's share, I see this document here, has Walnut Creek, West Wise, Rolling D Ranch, Wick, and then New Farrell Mud. How's this even broken out? This is all gray here, I see dollar signs, is this customers or land?
Those are the customers,
She's a customer, just times by this cost ratio,
I guess, and this is what we have.
so we don't.
It's not just by the customers, it also goes by percentage of growth. They factored that in. It's not in this per se, but it is factored in.
Is that like on further in this column because it's cut off right there?
No, it was factored in with the preliminary calculations on this cost ratio. They put also the amount we're growing. We're growing at about, right now, we're growing at, I just did the math the other day, about 6.2% is what we're growing at.
Northwest Parker County, according to the real estate community,
Yes, ma'am.
growing at 33% and has been pretty consistent since 2021.
Oh, yes, but
But that's why I said-
our growth itself is not at that rate.
Okay. So what
The
happens?
Developments have slowed down everything.
Well, yeah, because the rates went up. So what happens when the contracts with the entities, municipalities that we have contracts with, what happens to our rates when those go away? What kind of assurance do we have as water customers that our rate, we won't have to absorb the cost of those contracts going away when everything's online?
No,
Let's say
I-
5 years. What happens to our rates when those contracts go away?
You won't absorb those rates. It's not set up that way. That's in no way set up that way.
So we,
It just frees up water to y'all.
I was gonna say, it frees up water,
Yeah,
but
so that we,
don't those contracts help defray some of the cost for
No, they
Walnut
pay for
Creek
their
and
gallon.
the infrastructure improvements that you've made?
those,
Don't you have built into those rates, those contracts, a certain percentage that helps with the infrastructure that needs to be, like the pipes you're laying in Wise County right now?
Mhm.
no, that wasn't
It's a
built
flat
into
per
that.
1,000 gallon.
I'm not saying it's not, shouldn't be, I'm saying it's not.
Shouldn't be our responsibility to do Wise County, or whoever they're
So
serving,
that
whoever
price
is being
increase
serviced.
we had didn't factor in like future development,
In
maintenance.
fact, the price increase we had was simply because we were behind on having price increases.
Because we had a price increase, but I was asking, are we,
A year ago.
Oh, now, when we have price increases, when their contract comes up, they have price increases.
right, but we still have more price increases on top of that by with all the booster pumps and water lines being laid for Boyd.
Okay, so those are not just laid for Boyd.
I know, but then I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out one little entity in that group.
Yes.
I mean, that's just the child you can pick on, but, so last October, our water rate increase was pretty substantial. Do y'all get Walnut Creek water, or do you have well water? Are you on well water?
I am.
Well water? Yeah, so this doesn't affect y'all. It affects me. It affects my 164 neighbors in Bittersweet Springs that are required to have sod all the way around their yard, all the way out to the street. We just had that argument with Parker County Commissioners Court. So there are requirements. Vintage Oaks, same requirement. Riverside that's going in that y'all are getting ready to, same requirements. Every new development where the home is going to be over 400,000, which there's quite a few that the county commissioners are approving, that is a requirement. And I realize y'all have an issue about the sod, but guess what? We buy into this, not even being told that we can't water our sod that we're required to have. And if we don't have it, we get sued by the developer, or if there's an HOA, then the HOA sues them. So the water rates are really important. And the last October, I don't know if you read or listened to the customers, there was some significant pushback. And there were people in my neighborhood who left. They dumped their house, the price of their house, and they left.
But water rates can never remain completely the same.
I'm not saying that they
It has to go
aren't,
up.
but it's
And
the
our expenses
continual.
go up. And not even the expenses with the, when we did the water rate study, that didn't even have the bond factored into it. The bond was factored in, we could pay for the bond without the water rates going up.
That's what I assumed, but
And-
the timing of it was so
Well, I
suspect.
understand what you're saying, but we hadn't had a water rate study in, I believe it was 6 years. And so it was time for a water rate study, and they told us, you're losing $1.4 million a year because these things aren't done.
So when's the next study?
But this will be next year.
Another study next year?
I just don't want this to turn into a Center River Authority.
Exactly.
You know
Oh my
what I'm
gosh,
talking
what a
about?
mess that would be.
No, I'm not familiar.
So you got organizations like
Jesus.
districts and everything else, and they're paying an extra $100 a month on top of their bill for the surface water that they're making, they don't have access to.
Well, like this entity,
Well, yeah, it's happening. I mean, you can get.
Oh, no, I'm not denying it, I just didn't know about it.
Right, so I'm making sure this doesn't turn into a Center River Authority. Because
yeah.
if we don't have an actual, our clause inside of that treatment plant that's off of Eagle Mountain, then this doesn't jive whatsoever. Because
What do you mean by having our clause?
we have a portion of that water coming in from that treatment plant. We have access to that treatment plant.
Yes.
Right, that's the difference that we're here versus Central River Authority. A lot of those districts don't have access to that treatment plant. They don't
Oh,
have
no,
access to
here
the
we
water.
would have full access to that plant.
Right,
That
that's-
is partially our plant.
But I was just worried, I'm just trying to figure out, do you know if we're gonna dredge down to the intake? Because otherwise, having the north side of that lake is gonna be dry on the summer. Are we gonna,
Well, the part where they're looking at is not part that goes, by the old power plant is deeper.
It's the channel.
It's a channel, yes.
Okay.
And so that's where they're looking at.
so we're not gonna have problems with,
Shouldn't have a problem at all. The water can go very low before we'd have a problem. And then there'll be a second intake built into farther out.
That's
That
what I
would only be
understand.
used in
It's
an
still the
emergency
west fork of
situation.
the Trinity River
Yes.
running through Eagle Mountain Lake.
Water back in Chambers.
I'm sorry.
We can put water back in from Chambers where they can.
Yeah.
I think
They
that's what you're
just
asking
use it.
somebody-
They only do, and I found out from TRWD, here's a little
Sound lovely.
tidbit. TRWD only turns turns loose the pipes, the water that are huge, beginning in October through May. In the summer, they're off.
Yeah. See, we.
They
talked
don't
to
feed
them
Eagle
once,
Mountain Lake.
And they told us we could build a water plant, but they wanted us to attach it to that pipe. And I said, why would I do that? That's a losing.
Why, really?
That's a
We don't need to
losing,
feed Tarrant County.
You know. Well, we would pull it to here. We would push it over
Oh,
to here.
So the Trinity River, if you drive anywhere from here to 114 and you take the county roads, the Trinity River is never half full unless it's been raining. It's probably a little over half full right now because of the rain we had on Saturday. But that's the Trinity River that is feeding Eagle Mountain Lake
Yes, ma'am.
from Lake Bridgeport.
That river
Sounds
can
like-
dry if they turn the.
Oh,
if they turn the
absolutely.
dam off,
Yeah.
6 foot deep, if they got it off.
It would be totally dry. It'd be like Walnut Creek right now. It sounds like there's some really good intentions here,
But you're asking your customers to be okay with, you can't see everything because it's not written down. It's not even in a, I don't know, y'all might have it. We don't have it. What this is gonna look like on paper financially. That's really important in this day and time, because I guarantee you, sidebar, Parker County is gonna raise all of our property taxes next year when these propositions pass. They did it in 2024 last year, they're gonna do it again. Our rates to live here in this beautiful area of Texas is going to become unaffordable. And the people here, y'all have lived here most of your lives, right? Okay, I've been in Texas 27 years. The people here don't like the growth as it is. And they're your customers that you've had for 30 years, or since what, 1996? 92, thank you. Since 1992, when Walnut Creek, came to be. There has to be transparency about this endeavor. It didn't work the other way, so now we're doing it through an ordinance. I get it. The laws of Texas allow that, but it's not transparent to the water district customers. And you've got to be transparent. They just, it's hard enough to get somebody to understand how to go read a proposition that they're gonna vote on starting today, and there's 17 of them. They're not, unless it's spelled out and put out there in the public sphere, not just on the window. This public forum, by the way, wasn't even on the website. I didn't see it anyway. It was on the agenda, that was it. It wasn't, how you have your scrolling banner on the front? It wasn't there, should have been there. People do go to the website to go pay their bill.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been a perfect place to put that.
On this first part of this ordinance where it says whereas, is this quote unquote from the Texas state statute on page 1 of ordinance 2520-10-001?
The whereas,
Correct. Is that whole paragraph right there, is that just a straight copy and paste of the Texas state statute?
I don't think it's straight copy and paste, it's what the water drew from the Texas state, I can't even talk today, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Texas state.
So the only question I have about this is because when I spoke to you last meeting about like mud districts or sewage treatment, you said you didn't want to get involved in sewage treatment whatsoever, but we have sewage treatment on this property.
Well, and as I said, the bylaws will cut that out. This is being set up so that only the projects you are involved in are the projects that you pay on. In other words, yeah, the projects that you benefit from will be the ones that you are required to pay toward.
Okay, so I'm also going back to this document here with that 300,000 of all the entities that pay for everything. If another entity buys in before we start really kicking off, is that gonna be, how's this cost structure gonna be reallocated?
So the way this works is, this money starts coming back to us.
If another entity joins in?
Well, even if they join, we start receiving money back. When the water starts coming in, water customers start paying, we also start seeing dividends back on the money we paid. So whatever money we paid in, we start seeing money on besides the water we're selling.
But we've also lost the contracts. So our contracts with Boyd, Paradise, except Rome,
Well,
will
not
go
right,
away.
it won't happen automatically, but it will happen eventually, yes.
I mean, because they're not gonna double pay Walnut
Well,
Creek.
yeah, but also they can't afford to put water lines in it first, so it's gonna go through our water line, so I'm still gonna be paying, they're still gonna be paying us for water.
But not Decatur.
Not Decatur, no, we don't have.
They have their own
contract
water
with them.
lines.
Yeah, they
Right.
have their own, but the ones like Boyd, Paradise.
Right,
when
Paradise.
this originally starts, we'll be getting that water, but and still selling to them.
And so the entity will put those water lines in?
Well, it'll be, if it benefits two or more, it all goes into a project, a bond project that benefits all of them. There will be one line that has to be sized up when they start getting ready to go through Boyd on our system, to get more into our system, but we won't have to do it immediately.
Well, I would think from Fairview all the way down to this new PUD, is it a PUD?
It's a mud.
No, this is a PUA.
Oh, it's a PUA, you're talking about the public utility.
No, I'm not, I'm talking about the development.
That's a mud.
That's a mud,
Oh.
okay. Because they had to get special permission to be able to tack on additional fees to whoever buys property.
Yeah.
So I have a question, what is the term of the board of directors that are governed?
That's gonna govern this? It
That
will-
the public entities named herein will not have authority to create any debt or financial obligation, blah, 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 but you will appoint somebody, right?
Yes.
And what's the term?
The term, we're gonna
2 or
draw,
3
we draw
years.
lots, it can be 1, 2, or 3 years, we draw lots for those terms.
Draw lots with the other,
For the board members will draw lots.
okay,
You have to start off staggered.
I understand. I understand how that works. It's kind of an interesting way to do it. So what are the qualifications for the individual who will be named by Walnut Creek SUD? I don't care about the others.
The qualifications that we would, well, the first one, it can't be a board member, it can't be an elected official. So the first one would probably be myself, just to get it started. And then we would go from there. Now,
Is this a paid position?
no, ma'am,
It's volunteer. All of them are volunteer?
I'll read it if you'd like.
That would be great, thank you.
Director qualifications are, a director may not be an elected official of any public entity that has the authority to appoint a member of the board. The board member must reside in the territory or certificate of convenience and necessity of its appointing public entity and be a registered voter. In the case of Rolling, is that V or 5?
V,
In the case of Rolling V Ranch Water Control and Improvement District Number 3, a board member may also reside in the territory of Rolling V Ranch Water Control and Improvement District Number 1. Rolling V Ranch Water Control and Improvement District Number 2, or Rolling V Ranch Water Control Improvement District Number 4. Board members appointed by Wise County must reside in the unincorporated area of the county. A public entity may appoint an employee of such public entity to serve as the director without regard to residency.
So we're gonna go back to the whole same thing that could happen with ERCOT, we have people in Germany that run the board.
So are there any qualifications as to knowledge base, as to what they're walking into? An understanding of,
Say again?
is there a requirement in the job description that the individual have a knowledge foundation based on understanding of water district management?
we can write that, our own on that. This is what's required
That's
there.
not a
but we can-
qualification of this board. It's not a qualification of any board,
I
as
know,
far as I know.
but this is different, this is bigger, well, it should be, but anyway, that's for another day. But it should be, this is big, this is a big entity.
It's not.
I understand this is our ordinance, correct?
This is their ordinance.
This is the ordinance for the whole thing. For us, we can write a more strict one for who we want to put on that board.
Ours
But-
says you
but-
can't have a developer, this one says you can, doesn't mention.
Well, state law says you can't have a developer.
Yeah. We still wouldn't be able to have developers because of the state law.
There's some 14 entities in this,
15, what was it, 14, two have come from Wise.
they each have a board vote,
Yes, sir.
and then it also goes on to say that each public entity of a population of 50,000 or more is entitled to an extra vote.
Yeah,
So we have extra
I read that in
power
Decatur,
being as large as we are.
yeah,
We won't have an extra yet. We don't have that population yet.
well, we will.
But we will, and at that time, yes, we will get that extra vote.
Where are we at about? So where are we at about on that level?
Between 34 and 36,000 is the population that we serve.
What ownership will Rolling V Ranch have above ownership into the water treatment plant since they're gonna directly benefit from it. They can't even open their development until they have water, which they're not gonna get from Fairview. Or
Any
Newark.
extra, I mean, any,
Do they have additional powers built into this
No.
for them
no, that was.
on the
something-
water treatment plant?
That was something we pushed back against very, very much.
'Cause that was
Make sure
something that was
did not
said.
happen.
Back in April,
Yes,
when the developer testified, that, oh, we'll put up this amount of money and, yeah.
no, that was something.
That was scary.
Pushed back against by all of us.
Okay.
That was a no.
The House apparently didn't like that either. Okay, because they only put in, $6,000.
Is that, what is that developer giving us?
Yeah, what is he giving? $6,000, that's it.
No, I mean, is there anything else he's giving us? Is he giving us property rights? Is he giving us anything?
No, he doesn't have, I mean, he has indicated that they would be willing to give us property to put the water plant, but then we would be pumping it many miles to get it to that spot before we can get.
So it's not a benefit to us to do that.
You know, it may still have happened that way, but at this point, it's not looking like it. Now, their numbers they're paying will go up as houses start getting built. Because then their population goes up, then their percentages go up, and therefore,
Well, I read they wanna have people living in there in the next 18 months.
yeah, well, they won't be getting water from that source yet.
Well, obviously.
So
But why was their input, their monetary input so small when ours was $80,000?
It went by population and. there's
And they have no population.
was this a workaround method for him to, without creating a mud district for himself?
They did, that is a mud, that is a mud. I know that's not how it's stated right there, but it is a mud.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not stated that way. I didn't know it was a mud.
It's a mud.
Is it in the bylaws that it's a mud? Oh, wait, that's not finished.
And,
Sorry, if I can't be sarcastic. Hey,
yeah.
you're business people, you know this.
Originally, the.
I come from the
developer-
corporate world,
Originally,
so.
the developer wanted 2 to 3 seats on the board.
Of course they did.
And,
Of course they did.
and, you know, we're pushing for all kinds of things. We managed to get it down to 1 to get this going, but that was one of the main problems when we went to the legislature. And it was not that he wanted that with me, it was that we weren't willing to give him his concessions. That's why we lost.
The concession.
And a couple other things, but that's okay.
Well, I know, but I'm saying that was a lot of our reason. Our representative didn't help, we'll just say that, but that was one of the big things, is that he wanted more, and since he wasn't getting it, he was talking to people who were not even representatives in this area.
He also went to the Senate.
Mhm.
I would love to see the detail on this. It's just, you know, and so are your water customers. They ask, they blow up my phone, they send me text messages, they send me Facebook messages. What is it gonna cost me? And if I have to say, I don't know, that's a problem.
Oh, no, I understand.
It needs to be more forthcoming. Is there any way y'all can push this off another month? And vote on this in
We can push
November
it off
where we
a
can
month,
get
but
some
then
more
At that point,
info?
it's to whether or not they let us in. This has to be in by the end of this month,
The end of what?
this month.
Oh, the next
Otherwise,
week.
it's at their leisure as to whether they decide they wanna let us back in, or if we have to be a buying customer.
When is
And
the
that's what we're
date,
trying to avoid,
when is the date that it's actually due?
the last day of this month.
Could you, what, next Friday? A week from
So if this isn't our ordinance, how are we gonna force them to correct?
As far as,
we contact them.
And they will correct it, or?
I can have that corrected, whatever we need corrected, that's not a problem. Before we sign anything, I can make a phone call and say, hey, this is wrong, read it, needs to be corrected, they'll correct it.
So my last question, when did this all come about and these bylaw, these, you know, what y'all are reading that I don't have, when did all that get put together?
Just, what,
2 weeks?
2 weeks ago, we started receiving the,
And then you have to have a voted answer.
No, it's been longer than that.
it's been a little longer, yeah.
That's less than 30 days.
Yeah.
Really? That's insane. Corporations don't do that. Unless it's free money.
What is it gonna cost us
Yeah.
before we issue a bond? Like, what's the maintenance cost of
Yeah,
moving forward?
this-
Until you know the maintenance, the cost of the bond, you won't know the maintenance cost.
But so we're gonna be paying whatever, who agrees to the rules and bylaws? So we don't have,
The bylaws will be set up by the board at the first meeting, they'll be working on the bylaws.
right, but there's not like a cost structure yearly before we start issuing bonds, correct?
We don't have a cost structure, so we know what the bonds cost.
Right, but we're not gonna pay anything until the cost
Yeah,
structure for a bond is it?
We pay that $82,000 because that also goes toward,
Well, besides, I'm talking about besides,
until the bonds, that should be the only thing we pay.
you guys don't have anything else to say? It's only being me and Heather and.
I'm really glad y'all are putting together an advisory committee. This
I'm
is
not trying to.
putting the
I'm not
cart
trying to
before the
shoot
horse.
Anybody else, guys? Bill, Mark?
I don't think
I
we
wanna
need
go
more
through my water
while
bottle.
we're talking. I just wanna see what they're planning before I mean,
And that's
Well, yeah.
that's why
that's
we're
what we
here
have
for
to
y'all to
have
vote.
Before we go any farther,
You know, that's-
we have to vote.
You don't have to say
Be able to
yes.
see it.
That's-
But then it's like a Nancy Pelosi thing, we gotta vote for what's in.
You gotta, yeah, exactly.
Words.
You gotta vote before you can read it. Oh, wow, we went down that. That was not pretty.
I'm not saying I like that idea, but I had to bring it before the board today. Don't say no. That is your leisure, you can vote not to do it. In the long run, it may cost us more. I can't guarantee that,
So you
Explain
take
that.
it, I'm sorry.
because then they do not have to let us in to be a board member,
We'd be a wholesale customer at that
so they
point.
can make us a wholesale customer. We won't have a say on what happens on that board, what happens at that water plant or anything.
So you
So
need
we
to
go
take an
forward.
answer back, and then you're gonna come back and vote on this? Is that what you're saying?
No, they're voting today. They're voting today. This reminds me of my son when he was in third
If we don't
grade.
go in like now, does that mean?
And he said, Mom, I have a cupcake sale that we have to do.
If we don't
And if I
have
don't
it in,
pay the
we
$10
have a special meeting
today,
next week, but I'm not
next week it's gonna
guarantee I
cost
can get you
15.
prices without knowing
Yeah.
what bonds are. And they haven't worked on that part of it.
didn't fly them.
But you be guaranteed $50.
Is this customary?
Yes, this is what
way it's
Kia
always-
does. I'm sorry,
Is this customary way that it's always, we're kind of shooting in the dark?
I don't like the way it's done, I'll be honest.
I mean, I just,
I just like to see the detail. I mean, at least allow us that.
Let us know more.
And as far as what you asked, I'm sorry, you asked a question, but I answered him, and I didn't get your question.
I was asking the same question.
okay.
But
That's
I don't
why,
like the way it's done, per se, because you don't get a lot of information as far as what your bonds are gonna run or anything.
No.
Because you don't have an entity to take out bonds that are to work on that project. Without the money we're putting in, none of that stuff's worked on yet.
and there's nothing stopping all these other entities, like you said, 2 or more. It's not, they team up together and just do 2 or more that doesn't benefit, want to create the benefits, 2 or more within the organization and drive up the bond costs, correct?
Here's the thing.
I know, but we have a vote on the board, but that doesn't mean it.
Well, also, the way it works out is when they take out a bond for a certain section of this, we don't have to pay for that if it doesn't benefit us.
You said 2 or more.
So what do you, I'm not.
You said 2 or more entities. We have 15.
Yes,
So
but I don't
2 or
understand
more.
what you mean by 2 or more.
Alvor and Boyd decide to, well, let's go further away. Let's say Paradise and Alvor or
Okay.
something. But it doesn't benefit us, it only benefits those entities. It's 2 or more, and they get another, 2 other entities that team up and do something. We could be paying for all these extra bonds.
But not if it's, not if it's not benefiting us. We don't, that's the way, that's the discussion that's been had through this whole deal of setting
But
this
you
up.
said 2 or more.
I'm not, I don't know what you're talking about.
Is that anywhere in your paperwork that y'all got that we don't
Let's
have?
get-
No, it's gonna be in the bylaws, and it's in a bunch of notes.
I'm trying to
Let's
clear
stay
that
on
up.
point here.
I'm just trying to clear that up. You said it has to benefit us
Before we pay.
before we pay. It doesn't matter if everybody else joined in on it. If it doesn't benefit us,
If
we
it
don't pay
doesn't
the bond.
benefit us, we don't pay them.
That bond is not us. We're
That's,
exempt from it.
that's the way it, but the whole thing's being set
Meaning
up.
it would only be water treatment.
And
That's
the
the only
wastewater, we
thing
have
that will
nothing to
benefit
do.
us.
Okay, what?
I was just clearing that up because I I was
Doesn't
getting,
that sound pretty good?
that sounds better than having 2 or more, because I thought you said 2 or more, and that's why I
I
clarified.
don't remember saying that, I apologize. No, so, and that's been discussed through every meeting. Perry's also been at these meetings with me, is the bylaws and how they will be set up, so that you only pay if you're benefiting from it. And wastewater, water part, we won't have anything to do with that. We won't even have a vote. If it does not benefit you, you don't vote on it,
I think the biggest difference in here between, like I
And they're
said,
not charged for it.
and you're not charged for it.
but the biggest difference between here and Santa River Authority is that we have a,
A grasp on it, we would have someone on the board.
well,
Yes.
not only that, but we also have a grasp on the treatment center.
Yes.
And a direct pipeline to it versus we have
If we don't vote on it, then we won't have a stand in there. We'll just be, they'll be selling it to us.
whatever they want.
And that's okay. It sounds to me like if we don't benefit from it, then we don't participate.
Who decides how much money it's gonna
I was
cost?
clearing everything up, that's all.
Well, it goes off
I'm
a ratio
looking
of how
for
much
direction here.
our growth percentage and our population. That's what it goes off of. Right now, we have pretty much the highest.
So,
Thank you for raising your hand.
I'm sorry, I didn't do that before, my apologies.
Yes, ma'am.
So, we're playing poker here. Texas Hold'em.
As far as,
How many cards, good cards, does Walnut Creek hold over the other 14 entities?
okay, well,
Size-wise, we've got high cards, right?
we are the biggest entity.
Okay.
And we also have we're the only ones who get the right of ways to a lot of it.
Right, so this can or cannot this be done without Walnut Creek?
They can
Today?
do it, they can do it. I'm not gonna say they can't do it. I'm gonna say.
Would it take longer?
It would make things a lot harder and a lot longer.
Okay,
So if we decide to change something in this ordinance, I'm not trying to schedule another meeting on us, but if we propose something to change a little bit more drastic in this ordinance, or something that we think that might be a little more beneficial to us, to sort of put the biggest piece of pie in,
Well,
would they come to the
they
table?
won't do it. They won't accept it. All of them have to read the same for us to do this.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that, like on here, if we wanted to change something besides just the 11 to 12.
So, all of theirs look exactly the same, except just have the names of their entities.
I'm gonna propose something for your consideration. Whoever is voted to sit on the board, that person should not have any back deals with any of the other 14 entities. They need to be able to have an open dialogue that represents fully Walnut Creek SUD Water District customers. That has to be a priority because we hold the cards. That's the reason I asked
Oh, I
that.
understand what you're saying.
And listen, I listened to 2.5 hours of that hearing. That developer is slick. Don't know about the other administrators. They're wonderful, fine people. He's slick. And that
I
whole
don't
company,
disagree.
if you do a background check on, they're slick. They're business people. I don't want to see, as a water customer, I don't want to see Walnut Creek used and be backed into something that is not going to be a direct benefit to Walnut Creek. Decatur has a lot to lose in this, and they just approved a $38 million bond. Or no, a tax, sorry, wasn't a bond, it was a tax.
What size?
So they're already strapping their public already.
What size do we expect Rolling Bee Ranch to be?
Isn't it 1,200 homes?
It's something around 12.
It's over 1,000 homes.
It sets between,
Newark?
Aurora and Newark.
In Newark. Is it Newark or Newark?
So it's like the kind of.
It depends on where you're from.
I know. It's huge. They're still putting the infrastructure in right now.
So about 5,000 voters, roughly?
Roughly
4,000 or 5,000 additional?
1,200 homes. Yeah, I would think more around 3,000 voters at the most.
I would just encourage the board
as someone who wrote contracts for a long time, don't show your cards. And always have the water district customers in the front of your head, always. What is it gonna do to benefit us and Walnut Creek SUD? Because we have the most to lose in the long run. Whether the pipeline that they put in that ties in at Boyd or not.
Yeah.
We have the most to lose. We're putting up the most money. So it should always be front and center that Walnut Creek comes first. And they need to understand that. Put it out there. I'll go to the board meetings, trust me.
No, I understand.
I want to listen to it. Because
Yeah.
it's not okay if the water district customers end up paying again through the nose. Right now, they can't afford it. We're trying to recover economically. So it's, I don't know, it's so difficult to be okay with this or feel, you know, all fuzzy and warm about it when this is it, 2 pages.
Just from my feelings,
Yes, sir.
can you tell me what page and section it says that we only pay for what benefits us?
That will be in the bylaws. It's been discussed at every meeting, but it won't go into writing until the bylaws.
Who's writing the bylaws? What attorney group?
Boyd and Gosling is the name of the attorney group that we've been using, and then, but it will also be every board member involved in writing the bylaws.
So,
Yeah, but it's gonna go through the
so if
legal.
the bylaws have been created yet, they can choose not to put that in there at any point in time, if they really choose.
Well, they can, but there are other entities in this that also don't do the sewer and are not gonna benefit on those, so they'll all vote it down.
What's our exit strategy if we,
Yeah, good
I
question.
don't think we have one.
if something happens, we don't like it?
Is it 90
We
days?
just get out? They give us our money back?
No, they've never given me I've talked to our lawyer, and he hasn't even,
We need an exit strategy.
so let me work on that tomorrow.
That's a good point.
That is, and I
I agree.
apologize, sir, I did not.
So-
See,
I
takes
thought
a
there was-
businessman.
I thought I read something, there was something about 90 days somewhere. Does that ring any bell for anybody?
No, I read through the whole thing.
I've read through it several times,
It needs to be.
yes.
The bylaws,
So
is-
summarize for us concisely, what is the benefit for Walnut Creek?
So the benefit for Walnut Creek is water, and it's not gonna be immediate. I wish I could say it was gonna be immediate, but it's to take care of this district in the
Take care of future needs for water.
future needs for water, because we are not gonna have them.
Okay.
People are gonna keep moving in, we can't keep them from moving in. I wish I could just say, it's not gonna happen, I'm not letting you move in, but I don't have that authority.
I guess it's no different than saying about the whole situation about pre-COVID prices versus COVID prices. If we'd known that if the school district was gonna expand as much, if we had paid for expansion beforehand,
Yeah,
we would have been
but
this much
You
paying
know,
versus
it
this
is
much.
for the future of Walnut Creek. It's not gonna happen within the next 5 years that we see any kind of benefit out of it. But if we don't do this, we're gonna end up in the future where we're sitting in the same spot and we're not gonna have water. And we're gonna be wondering where it's gonna come from.
Well, it's going to have it, it's just
And
gonna
that's
be
a big
paying,
problem.
we'll be paying for it.
That's if they agree to take us on.
I think it's
They
still.
don't have to agree to take us on as a customer.
So we could be making a decision now that benefits us in the future at a reduced cost now, like pre-COVID.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
This
it's-
is a pre-COVID.
in the future, the prices only go up and never
Sure.
go down.
Okay. So I'm seeing benefit here.
You know, we're looking
my
at,
last comment.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, no, I promise, this is my last comment. What did Nancy Pelosi tell us about passing that bill that ended up costing Americans billions of dollars? What did she say?
I already said it earlier.
That's why I want an exit strategy.
We have to pass it before we can read it. That is a cardinal rule in business. Cardinal rule. Business 101.
I don't think that's a cardinal rule.
Yeah.
You have an exit strategy to get out of the agreement upon you break the terms, okay?
Yeah.
That's all we need.
I can work on that tomorrow. I'll have it to you.
Protect the
I
customers.
want to get back to something that was mentioned that I have a problem with.
Okay,
If an HOA is mandating residents to put in a $25,000 landscape pack,
yes, sir.
Yep.
and the HOA is requiring you to keep that landscape alive, I'm assuming, or
Yes.
penalize,
Yep.
right?
Yes, sir.
then the state mandates what we allow them to have in water. And if that's not enough water to keep that landscape alive, then that seems like
He's responsible.
that's a muck.
And it's not just an HOA, it's a CCR.
Yes.
The CCRs
So
require that.
CCR, oh,
I
Community
would think that a
conditions.
good attorney for the for the resident could fight that contractual obligation for force majeure. We can't give you water because, it's
they
dry,
can't pump it
right?
that fast.
Was we put an ordinance in
So
that.
I would think that that's the way out, but I'm just asking the question. That seems
Already went there.
a muck there. You
Yeah.
have an HOA mandate.
Already went there.
They go this route, but your HOAs or CCRs, either one, they just hold their ground, they just dig their ground.
I already talked to a real estate agent, a real estate attorney about that. We have to actually kick the HOA, if it's an HOA, you have to do away with the HOA. If it's a developer managed CCR, which most of them are here in northwestern Parker County because they're new, you have to actually, with a certain percentage, it's usually like 70%, you have to then change the CCRs, take the developer off, and make changes to the CCRs. That's the only way that can be done.
What about when the development, because we got other developers that are coming in, they're trying to connect to us, are we not able to put restrictions on plant structure or whatever, on water structure, like in other words, you can't mandate.
I am not allowed to do that.
You
I'm just
can't,
asking.
the county commissioners can,
County can,
the county
You
can,
can.
y'all
believe
can't,
me, I beg.
y'all can't. It's a hill to climb to get those CCRs or HOA, whatever, changed.
So that's a Pat Dean.
And the fines are high.
That's a Pat Dean question.
It's that,
I'll give him a call.
like I say, I've talked to the county, they show reluctance because they don't wanna make anyone mad, is basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, they don't like me like that.
Representatives need to change that.
But yeah, it needs to be changed at a state level, it needs to come from a state level is where it needs to come.
I mean, if-
Other states have done it.
I mean, if we don't have a state.
I mean, they're mad at us. They shouldn't be mad at us. The representatives should change the law to allow them to not be penalized, because you can only get so much water.
Well, in the interlocal agreements in Parker County, I'll just take, and even Wise County. So there's interlocal agreements, and I'll just use Springtown as an example. The city of Springtown actually approves the plans, the water treatment, the water distribution, the water drainage issues, the streets, everything, the lots, everything, all the plats. They're approved by the local entity, even though the development may be in the ETJ of that city, that municipality. They approve it, and then it goes to the county commissioners. Then the county commissioners are required to review it, and that's why we have precincts. They're required to review it, and then they vote on it, because they have to put up a construction bond. That's at the point where they could go back and say, okay, y'all need to fix this. I've been to 2 meetings there. They are not interested in that. There's no buy-in from them. You know why? Developers run that. I've seen it firsthand. I'm living in a development that went through that. So until that changes in Weatherford, it's not gonna change. The developers own the county commissioners. You've probably seen it in your business.
I guess the only other thing that, the other question on is number 7, without cause. Last sentence of section 7, page 3.
Any director may be removed from office at any time with or without cause by public entity appointed such director. So if Walnut Creek got a director, we can remove him for any reason whatsoever, put somebody else on.
Yes.
I like that it's not the directors of PUA.
Yeah, no, like if you have someone in there, we put someone there, you put me there, you don't feel I'm doing the job I should do in there, you pull me.
Oh, you read it as the PUA.
No, I'm saying I'm glad it's not the PUA.
Oh, okay, it's not.
Right, it's us here. That's the only other thing that
You
just.
pull me in, you appoint someone else,
So that's a good thing.
Correct.
What's a bad thing is the thing you brought up earlier about, it doesn't say the director can't live in Birmingham.
Yeah, ERCOT, I mean, every person on ERCOT was not even in the United States, they were outside of the country.
I would think that perhaps that could be something addressed in the bylaws.
Got the residents. Gotta have to be a resident,
Well, you
I mean,
word it somehow, right?
Yeah, because they worded it, part of it as residents, part of it as employees. So,
Shouldn't it be resident that is a district customer? Yeah, we're on water
well,
well.
eventually, that's
You
what,
have no buy-in.
that's what we would go to eventually. The first board, I would probably be on if they wanted, just to get the bylaws and things going and make sure we get all that in. And then from there, it would be appointed by whoever they decide they want in that position, or if they want to have interviews for someone for that position. However they want.
Yeah, a lot of the cities did applications.
A couple of them
People
did.
interested
Uh,
in being on
Some of them are
board.
appointing from within, some of them are interviewing for the position.
Aren't they coming from within the city administration?
Mm-mm, not necessarily.
As far as.
Sitting on the board.
Well, some of them will be coming from the city administration,
Okay.
some of them, they're interviewing from outside that.
Why?
The
So-
smaller cities, the smaller entities are interviewing.
So what's the real advantage for a non-water customer to sit on a board they're not going to be drawing water from? Where's,
Well, if we,
Fire protection.
if we are the ones who are going to appoint that, and we interview for that, that could be one of our stipulations, that that person needs to be a customer.
because then they're truly going to be representing the majority of the people that Walnut Creek represents. No offense, if I had another 3/4 acres, I'd have a well in the ground. You know, I grew up on well water, so it's, you know, what's your priority? You know, it's not gonna affect me, no problem. But it affects
The customers,
the customers.
yes.
I'm here for the customers.
No, I understand that.
5 years,
I
how much,
understand that completely.
5 years, how much demand are we looking at per million needed, projected, rough numbers thrown in the sky?
For us,
Rough number. Shoot from your head.
let me, hang on. Give me a second. I know the calculator and I can come up pretty close.
That's, yeah, fluff it up a couple million. Because developers like grass.
While he's calculating that, a little interesting sliver of knowledge for Northwest Parker County. The developments that have been built here since 2020, the people moving in, the developers that have developed those residential developments hate HOAs. They're moving here because they were getting away from HOAs. They don't realize that the developer CCR is a pseudo HOA until the developer is gone from enforcing those CCRs. So it's kind of a catch-22 for a lot of people moving here. And I can speak for the big developments like Bittersweet Springs, Vintage Oaks, Rocky Ridge. A lot of the people that moved there was because they wanted out of the HOAs that were strangling them in the cities or some other state. Since we have so many New Jersey people here.
You're looking at roughly, within 5 years, our use going up, and I fluffed it up quite a bit, by about 5.2 million.
we need more.
5.2 million MPG.
Yes.
Do you think we'll get that with that plant?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would be able to get that.
We're about to be 12, right?
Yes, we're,
No, I'm asking him, are we gonna be able to get that if we have?
Oh, the new plant?
No, the PUA.
Oh, the PUA.
yeah, we could cover that, yes, most definitely. That's the way it's set up, and we would be one of the first to receive water. The way it's gonna, they've got it set up, it will come to us, Rome, Newark, and through us to Boyd.
But when our water treatment plant construction is done, what will we be at?
We'll be at that 12.
At 12,
instead.
that's what I thought.
But that's not gonna be enough to cover us in 5 years. Like I say, we
I
have to look
understand
at the future here. We have to look at 5 years, 10 years down the road. Otherwise, we're gonna be having these same kinds of meetings and no solution because, hey, they've already got it sewed up and they might sell it to you or they may not.
Didn't the engineering company say that there's gonna have to be another big investment because it's not gonna be big enough outside of the PUA?
Well, that's talking about without the PUA.
Oh, okay, because that was,
PUA, we may
that was
not
in the
have to
minute,
do
the
that.
minutes.
We may not have, but because then we'll be getting water from a different direction. If we don't do it, we're gonna upgrade, but we also don't have a guarantee of any more water from TRWD.
So yeah, if we pull water from that direction, we basically essentially double the capacity of the entire network, because you're not pumping over from Bridgeport.
Yeah, we'd be pumping, but we'll also be bringing it in. The two will mix, so we'll have to make a point where they mix, otherwise, you're gonna come up with water that doesn't taste right, mixing the two.
Well, since I'm,
Bridgeport Lake, Eagle Mountain Lake, the flavors are completely, you're looking at one's rock bottom, one's a mud bottom. So
right,
you're looking at getting water from a mud hole and getting water from,
it's still a river. The river still runs through it.
runs through it, but Eagle Mountain the water
Seven.
quality's not near as good as Bridgeport.
Oh, no, I know.
Not even close.
So y'all are gonna vote on this today, right?
He said exit plan, right?
Want an exit strategy is what he said.
First?
I mean, I like that idea a lot.
I do too.
And that's fine, I'll work on it and have by the end of the week. Phone calls, I do what I gotta do,
Have to have a special
but we will have
meeting,
to have a special meeting before the 31st.
and it would have to be called. We
5
can't-
days.
We can't call it today.
When you
Yes,
have
we can.
wouldn't you have to
can
call
be-
it by
can
Wednesday?
be called today, have to be
published,
posted tomorrow for the 3-day.
For the 72 hour for the public.
72 hours,
5
yeah.
days. for the
So
public
tomorrow night.
information that it being
3
posted.
business days.
3 business days, so,
For the document, that's 5 days total for the information that the next meeting is happening. Unless it's gonna be a special emergency meeting, then you only have to do about 2 hours.
No, it'll be a 3-day, that's what's required, 3 business days.
yeah, now it's 3
Posted
days.
prior to the meeting. If the meeting is Friday, go 3 days back, so it would have to be done by tomorrow at 4 o'clock. If we were going to have a meeting on Friday at 4 o'clock.
But they changed the open meeting act where
Yes,
it's
to 3 days, 3 business days.
So why don't you then why don't you move it to Monday or Tuesday? The 31st is not till a week
Because
from
their
Friday.
deadline,
Well, he said he'd get it to him
Oh,
by the
yeah.
end
I
of
mean,
the week.
I'll work on it.
right, I mean,
and
just,
do my
I'm just
best.
saying.
Play that
it's gonna be
card.
that quick.
Play one of those cards.
Oh, I understand what you're, yes, ma'am, I understand what you're saying.
And then have a meeting maybe Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Yeah, of next week, and you're still within the window.
Yeah.
And you're still within the open meeting requirement.
Still have time.
So
I
at
was just
least,
doing it on the quickest. we could
exactly.
do it.
At least it gives you a moment to get your thoughts together.
What was the 5-day notice that we changed the rule on before?
It was a 3-day.
It's a 3-day,
It used
that's
to
what
be
the state
72
changed.
hours,
Oh,
and
Yeah.
now it's
3
3
business
days,
days.
3 business
it
days.
just
So it
wasn't
has to be
anymore.
posted before
That's where the 5 days come in, because it's gonna be.
Well, only because our meetings are on Monday.
4 PM on Tuesday.
Right.
For next week, yeah.
That buys some time for y'all.
Yes.
I know.
Is there any other comments?
I represent the
I would
customers.
move that we, work towards an exit strategy and get it as soon as possible and have a special meeting.
On what day, the 24th, Friday?
Depends on him getting the
Information?
information.
Monday's the 31st fall on?
It's a Friday,
The Friday,
Friday.
and that's Halloween and,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. on
That's
Friday.
only a motion that has to be seconded.
right.
I'll second.
well, you could do it on
Favor of
Thursday.
that motion?
Wait, you're still in the public meeting. There is no actionable items during that. You can close the public hearing.
Is there any other,
Oh,
comments from the public? We'll close the public hearing at 4:05:18.
And then we can move it on in the general session, you can move those.
We'll move into the general session.
And you can do those in any order you want to.
I can. So let's, so I don't lose track of it, we'll just go ahead with what I just said. I'll make a motion that, James, you pursue an exit strategy with the powers that be and report back to us as soon as possible, and we'll convene with a special meeting at that time. Second,
A second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, you got that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear, is there a date? Did you vote on a date to push it to, or just
No,
would
we
he?
don't have a date.
Okay.
because he has to
Sorry, I
send
just
out
wanna make
the-
sure I heard it right.
So Denise, are you gonna notify us?
Somebody.
Yes, you will get an agenda, just like you have always, and it'll have all the dates and the times on it.
So at the latest agenda date that you'll notify us will be, what, Tuesday of next week?
Yes, that would be the latest. More than likely, hopefully it'll be sometime this week that we'll set it up.
Yeah, I'll
Just
start
prefer
making-
if we
I'll start
can
making
to
phone
have it
calls.
on Monday, or,
So the latest we hear anything is the 28th.
So you may notify us when, what day?
yeah, just whenever we get the exit strategy.
I won't be here.
Okay. Well, that's not a good day for a meeting, so.
Getting there too late.
Yeah. It'll be there for the beginning of the door.
Yeah, so that'll work.
That's what you're saying, yeah. I think we'll just walk away from
Denise, it won't be a special, it won't be a, public meeting, it'll just be a general session
Correct.
item? Okay,
It'll
that's
be
what I
a
thought.
special meeting.
Okay, for a
special
vote.
called meeting.
Okay.
Go right ahead. Just help yourself. I've read that.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Okay, the second item, which is now item A, consideration and action to approve the formation of advisory committee. I have some notes on that somewhere. You should mess with this.
I will leave it alone. Next.
There it is.
Found it. I was gonna start.
Got it. Okay, last time we discussed this advisory committee, we had a couple of items we were going to address. One being the advisory committee would be chaired by a board member and co-chaired by a Walnut Creek customer. We were going to add who is not a developer. We all talked about that last time. We also talked about wording to rotate the chair. I have since also thought about, I think it would be important that the advisory board, what I'm visualizing is this advisory board is going to be tasked with whatever the situation may be. The advisory board, in their due diligence, may find that that task is not worthy of bringing it to the board. based on due diligence, they did. And I think that that information is important. Okay? If we don't, I don't want just the things that come to the board to be apparent to the customers. It's also, it may very well be that whatever the issue is, it goes through the advisory committee. The due diligence they find out is that things were in place, everything was copacetic, and it didn't need to come to the board. Well, that information needs to be posted. I don't want that lost.
Let them be a filter.
So I think that I need to word that in there somewhere, would y'all agree? Because I would actually think that 80% of the issues that are before the advisory board probably don't need to come to the board. They'll find out that, well, no, this is, we already said that, it's here, here's where it is, and it addresses it in this manner, and that's the end of it. And I want to capture that, that entire encompassing knowledge of information that was gathered on that particular issue and make it aware to the customer. You follow me, Jay?
Yes, sir, I do. I really believe you were correct.
Have y'all thought about anything else beyond what I just did? If you want to maybe add to this or take away from it?
I did take it away with last time we were speaking about it.
Hmm?
I didn't take it with different corrections.
So I would move that I'll continue to word that in such a way, and we'll bring it up next time and make sure that that's worded correctly, and then we can proceed from there. Okay?
Is this the only document on that?
Yes.
This?
Okay.
So you want that on the October?
Yes,
agenda?
please.
Final.
And we'll have a revised,
Do we need to vote on that? Can we get on the next meeting?
we can. I move that we move it to the next meeting with the comments that I just made regarding. I gotta word that. It's gonna take a minute, so. We'll just move it to the next meeting with further information.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, the next item has been the ordinance, and we addressed that. Move to item C, consideration and or action to approve or disapprove the interlocal cooperation agreement regarding creation of the operation of the PUA. I'll move that would also follow the same
Special.
motion that we just made.
Yes.
We won't make any motion on that. The next item is item D, consideration and or action to approve mid-year budget adjustments. Are you gonna talk about that, Dan?
It's Beverly's gonna.
Okay.
Look at me, I got too many papers to shuffle here. What you have before you is, a reestimate, I guess, of our 2025 operating budget. There's a couple of things that we want to accomplish by doing this. First of all, this is kind of our baseline, or beginning the baseline for our 2026 budget, which you're gonna start hearing about at the next meeting. Your goals, your simple criteria as far as the reestimates and adopting a new budget for the next fiscal year, by policy that has been approved by the board, you have really two priorities. Number one, your budget has to be balanced. You have to have operating revenue exceeding operating expenses. And then carry that to the next level. You need to be able to fulfill your obligation on your debt ratios that your auditor will be reporting on at the end of the year to make sure that you have operating revenue sufficient to pay your debt service. So those are the things that kind of we keep in the forefront as far as creating a new budget. And then when we make amendments, we want to make sure that we're keeping that in mind. Your overall revenues are going to predicted to go up slightly. We're seeing some fairly significant ups and downs in your revenue. You've got water sales, your revenue is coming in very well. You are, as far as water being purchased versus water selling, you're actually selling a higher percentage of it than what you have done in the prior year, probably because less water lost due to construction, but you also have an increase in your number of customers, which we made an estimate, but we are conservative in that estimate. Anyway, your water revenue should go up by about $1.3 million. You have some special revenue from the city of Boyd for connections there, $260,000. I know we've talked about that during some of those monthly budget reports. So you've got an increase in revenue of about $1.7 million. You do have some offsetting decreases. We cleaned up the discrepancy in the interest earnings that between the bond funds and the operating funds, and got those budgeted numbers straightened out. And but we also had to lower that estimate because we're spending bond money faster than what we expected. So so all in all, you have a net gain revenue $256,800, which is, you know, to the good. So you're better off. Expenses, they are a little bit fluid. There's some differences in what we expected. We had some maintenance work that had to be done at the treatment plant, and in order to accommodate that, we did shuffle some funds from other maintenance accounts and moved them into the appropriate accounts so that that work could be accomplished as much as we could this year. Good news is that with all of that shuffling going on, we still are projecting a decrease in expenses of $52,195. So we are presenting that to you, giving you a couple of different presentations. There's one here that's basically what your normal budget report would look like. It's got a couple of different columns, but it's in that same format. I re-presented it two different ways. One of them is a summary, doing it by category. You've got your personnel expenses, you've got maintenance expenses, you know, all the way through. So you've got about 6 or 8 line items you can look at and get a snapshot of where you're spending the money. And then there's another printout after that that takes the categorization and gives you the line item detail so you can see what is in each category. Again, I'm going to refer to the auditors of trying to group some of these accounts so that it's consistent with how they group them in their audit presentation. It gives us a better idea of how compliant we are with what we plan. So be happy to answer any questions you may have. I may punt them to Mr. Blackwood, but yeah. Ready for questions.
overall, the revenues projected to increase.
Excuse me?
Overall, the revenues projected
Yes,
to
sir.
increase.
Yes, sir, 200 and, where is it? $256,000. Developer revenue is down considerably. We're not doing as much of work with the subdivisions. They're kind of backing away from that. So they hire their own contractors and do their own work. So, that revenue is, I would say, going away or on its way
Parts
to
of
that.
it will,
Yeah.
yes. It's just, in the long run, all it was is we were spending the money to turn around and
Mhm.
charge them the money. We just cut the middleman out.
Yeah.
Because we weren't really making that money per se. It was just a turnaround. This is what we were charged and we charged them for it. This way, we're not having to buy the pipe and those sorts of things. It's just a pass through. And we do the inspections and all that stuff. They still have to have a pipe that meets our regs, and specifications and all of that. They can get their own contractor and then we do inspections.
On another expense that I wanted to point out to you is on our water purchases. We had talked about this several months back, but our water purchase account is coming in significantly under budget because we had a $370,000 credit memo from FY 2024 from TRWD, which got applied to our current year payments. So that was a pretty significant reduction in our expenses for this year. It's not guaranteed to happen every year. We've been lucky. I know it's happened 2 or 3 years in a row. This was the biggest one we've ever gotten. So we won't be considering that when we're doing next year's budget, but it did give us a little bit of a boost this year to cover some other areas where we had problems, the maintenance at the plant, and we had issues with our credit card processing that started to appear last summer. We were at the end of our contract with our merchant provider, and
How long is that contract good for, the extension that we had?
excuse me.
How long is that contract good for the extension? After you said it went, what, 50% down? Is it more than half, so more than 50%?
Oh, yeah.
So how long is that rate for?
3 years is the new one. It went into effect in June. It came down drastically. We had to negotiate. We tried to find a new provider, couldn't find one that our software company would work with. So we were basically limited to the same one that we have, but they agreed to do a pretty in-depth rate review for us. Denise, Jonna, and myself, we kind of teamed up, and that went into effect in June. So
Is it a cost plus rate?
it's a per item rate. There's a discount rate. There's what am I trying to say? Risk assessment fees, funding fees, the pass-through fees all together. It started out last year at it being $28,000 a month, something like that, last May. And it peaked at $72,000 a month before we've got it lowered. So.
What's our planned rate about cost per month going forward?
I'm sorry.
What's our planned rate cost going forward about?
Are we gonna talk about that during budget? Because right now we charge $3.
Well, say what the cost of the credit card processing, you said it was 72,000.
Right now it's about 31,000, and it goes up a little bit because our transactions are going up, both dollar amount and number of items. So we're keeping a close eye on that.
The only other question I have on the budget, I kind of explained everything else myself on this one. At the booster pump, 920, 01-20-5332. I'm just trying to figure out what was the 18,000. I know we had like the HVAC unit that went out.
We've had an HVAC, but we also had a pump go down that we had to replace. We were
In the
gonna
same-
rebuild it.
For the same
Yes.
location, okay.
We were gonna rebuild it and it was not rebuildable.
What is the item code longevity?
So we have a longevity plan. I'll let Denise go over that with you. We have a longevity plan for our employees.
For employees that have been here at least 1 year in December, for each month that they have been employed by us, we pay them an $8 a month longevity pay. It's to keep our long-term employees happy and here. So in a year, they earn $96 a year. We pay it once a year on the second Friday in December. So it's kind of like a little, it's not a bonus, it's longevity pay, because we can't give bonuses. But it falls in line with every municipality, with Westwise. Everybody does it trying to retain personnel. That's what it boils down to. The previous board is the one that initially approved this, putting it in for our employees. And they did it with no limit on what an employee could make. We have a couple of really long-term employees. We have one that just celebrated 45 years with us. He gets a nice check in December.
How much?
The last one he got was 4,600, if I'm remembering right.
And that's only one time a year.
Yes, only one time a year.
And explain it one more time.
It's just based on their tenure,
It's how much a month,
$8 a month,
based on however many months you've been here,
Yes.
exactly,
maybe once a year.
paid once a year.
Up to $96 a year.
8 times 12 is 96, so it just increases $96 for every employee. But they have to be here at least a year in December. And if not, then they have to wait another till the next December, and then they get all those months paid at one time.
What if they quit and come back?
If they quit, they
Does
don't
not-
get it, they have to
It
be
starts over.
employed in December. So if they leave at any time during the year, they don't get it. If they're rehired, they start over.
Sounds good.
The employees like it, I'm just saying. No.
Good cost of living.
Well, it's a, it's an incentive plan to keep people in. That's the way the previous board looked at it. It's
Any other questions? Okay. So we need to approve this budget.
Yes, sir.
Motion that we approve the budget as stated.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries by vote. Okay, the next item on the agenda is engineer's project report.
It's all political.
Didn't charge us that honestly.
Really, I just don't have a whole lot of new stuff added, just kind of some checkpoint items along each number here, just to kind of give you the last few items we're down to on a lot of these projects. Like the booster pump stations, all the electrical contractors are putting in control boxes and electrical equipment, and we're getting electrical service established to those sites, and then we're very, very close to starting those pumps up.
Oh, electrical service. Are we
Yes.
getting the rate for Tri-County? Because I know they offer two different rates. They offer one for regular service. They also do offer, water pumping service rates. And it is significantly lower, so it's something I might check into.
Okay. I will see.
Didn't mean to interrupt you on that.
No, you're okay. The water treatment plant, I know that they were putting the filter media in and they just had to touch up paint and the treatment plant project should be wrapped up, ready to start up.
Yeah, they're working on that this week.
Got paint?
That was what I was
Okay,
thinking.
yeah, I talked to Sean last week and he said that was pretty much all they had to do was touch up paint and then they'd be finished. So that project will be wrapped up and complete in the next week or so. Let's see.
When do you think they'll actually start? Got any idea?
He said the end of October, so I bet by
Maybe
the first week in November.
November is what I'm pushing towards, so.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't done it. Cool.
Very good. A lot of your tanks are, the ground storage tanks are all finished, they're just waiting on booster pumps to wrap up so they can connect them, flush them out, disinfect and fill up.
We're not gonna turn those on until we use the new, filter system or the new water plant.
Well, they can go on
They can
before
go on.
then, but we still have to get them, we have to disinfect those tanks and all that. As soon as they finish the pumps, we'll disinfect the tanks and ready to go.
So it might be-
Run those new booster pumps.
It's a lot of electrical stuff and getting right now. Just getting the electrical is the main thing. Most of the pumps are sitting in place, we're just getting all the electrical hooked up. Yes, sir. Oh, you look like you have a question.
I was thinking,
Did you have a question?
no, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see. The 12-inch water line down Knob Hill, they're making the final connections on that, and then they will disinfect, clean that, and that pipe will be put in service. I'm almost positive by the first week of November, so the next couple of weeks.
They were working on tie-ins this week, so.
So they got a couple more things on that. The elevated storage tank on FE51, they're still out there working on that. Let's see, and then all the water line projects, the water lines they're still getting put in the ground. They're close to being wrapped up with the water lines between the Key elevated tank and the Jaybird station. And then the water lines on FE51, they're getting those put in the ground. Other than that, I really don't have anything.
The project's in phase. Why do you wait for the bidding for like a fall, winter? Is the company just gonna give us a better rate because they're slow?
Well, that, on 059C,
Correct.
well, that 1.5 million gallon tank, we have to drop the water level in it. So you don't wanna do that right now when your water demand is high. So,
Choose to bid it, you have to drop the water level?
well, we need to look in it and make sure that there's not anything else we need to add to the bid package to
Yeah.
get. We know it needs new curtains and recoating.
Isn't the water clear? Can't you see? Put a diver in
I mean,
there?
I guess you could put a diver in there.
They've been in there before.
I know they've been in there before,
Divers.
emergency situations.
It was just, we
Seen
we
the
can,
LP.
we had all our tanks inspected last week, I'll look through them.
Take a good bath before you go.
Yeah.
Say make sure it's dark,
I mean,
It's dark.
we could.
but it is hard to see.
Right. I just know in the past, when we had bid package put together for tanks and you get it drained and you think your package is good, and you look in there and the whole top is rusted out, and it's about to fall in, so just want to make sure we catch.
Yeah, I agree. We need much further.
Yeah, that way you don't have to deal with it.
I don't know, we had those inspected, we just had those inspected, so I'll send him the videos also. They don't really per se, it's hard to see the roofs and stuff sometimes, but we get an idea of what's going on.
Talking about the,
They haven't sent me the videos yet, so.
talking about the tank there at 51, there by Salmon Road where it turns off that tank right there. Is that a done deal on that old outhouse that they painted out there?
As far as I know, I mean, they have to put all the electrical equipment inside it and
What I'm getting at is that the paint job they put on that thing is really nice over.
okay.
Thank you.
I
Did
won't look
mention
at
this
it.
last month?
She did say something to me, I'll have Perry look at it, I'm colorblind, so I'll go over there and look, I'll be honest with you. So I'll get someone to go look at it.
Yeah, it needs to be changed, where, you know,
Okay.
the same color as the tank.
Can I ask a question?
Wait a minute.
Just look on the attractor if you don't want it to rust, it doesn't matter what color it's painted.
Attention, sir.
Look to my little father, I see that.
This stuff.
Can I ask a question? Project 537066, the project plan was bid at 4.5 million. And right now it's sitting at 7.38 million. Why is it almost double in price, in cost?
Which one, 066?
066,
I don't remember that double.
It was bid, it was put into plan, the project plan, 4.5 million.
Is
And
that
in,
the,
in June, it was 6.3 million, and now you're listing it as 7.3 million. That's a lot of money over.
I don't know what you're looking at there. Is
Well,
that
I'm looking at the bid, the project update that you did, I only have June. And then I'm looking at your statement today.
This is the bond analysis. This wasn't when this project was bid. This was when we were putting the bond estimates together.
Well, I understand that, but the 40 million, it came out of the 40 million, right?
Right, but
So it started at 4.5 and now it's at 7.3?
When was it?
What-
no,
what
when it was
happened?
actually bid, when the project
That's what I
was
say, when it
was
was bid.
completed, the
before-
plans were
that was the
finished and
original
bid.
estimate bid.
That
They
was,
did
that
when
was
they were
just
talking
budget
about
numbers
the
to
bonds.
issue for bonds.
I understand that. That's big. That's a big difference.
Was it before COVID or after COVID?
Oh,
It
these
was,
are after.
it was
This was bid and estimated after COVID, right?
pretty much, so. Right, I mean, we did all those bond estimates and construction project estimates when we did the bonds, when we were trying to issue the bonds years ago, and then COVID and,
Well, it was just awarded in May of 2024, so it
Yes,
was a year
but-
ago. COVID was over.
That was the bond estimate that was done even before COVID.
I understand that, but
So
the
after COVID-
project was let on 5/20/24. The bid amount was 7.3, and I understand that, but it still came out of the 40 million, which is why now, is it not yet bid? There's 3 projects, because there's $3 million plus difference in them.
I understand
From what
you're
was
saying, but
proposed-
Prices went up from when that original bond project was put together through COVID till after COVID. The prices nearly doubled
COVID
for what
wasn't
they have
going
now.
in January of 20, or October of 2023,
well,
when the bonds were
original
sold.
bond was put together before that, though.
At the beginning of that
original-
year, 2023, I read them.
No, the original estimates were put together way before that.
Do you know when the
Why
estimate was
wasn't
done?
an update done? That's a significant amount of
Had nothing
money.
to do with the bond. I walked in,
Between 9
they were,
and
the night I walked in this office for the night they were
I understand that,
signing.
and I went back and read all the engineers' project
Yes.
that were proposed to TCEQ. TCEQ signed off on it, but not at 7.3 million.
She's saying that the original estimate was done in 2009 to 2013.
Between those times,
Yes.
is when they were working on this bond package that didn't get approved until 2023.
And the update on the cost structure wasn't updated until the
I
bond
can't
was.
tell you when that happened, but what happened is the bids came in, the 7.3 was the cheapest bid that came in to do the work that was required on that bid, on that job.
I mean, it's kinda like this, it's kinda like the 500,000 gallon elevated tank at FIM 51. You know, when we got the bonds issued and we did our construction estimates, and for that tank, we had it at, 1.5 million, but then after we had to buy the land, and then the landowner put the restriction that we had to put in the landmark type tank, now that tank comes in at,
What?
$3.5 million.
Yeah.
So that's the difference there.
That's a tremendous amount of money that was given to TCEQ to approve.
not in 2013 or whatever. I know that there was extra bond money left over from the 2014.
That was 2.5 million.
2.5 million, right, so you could use that as part of this, so that it ended up being 42.5 million. I understand that, but this particular project, and if you look at some of the others, it's like, wait, we're not talking 10 years ago, we're talking 2023 when the bonds were let. It was in June of 2023 that the package was, or May, that the package was sent to TCEQ. I would think that there's plenty of time to make adjustments before that package was awarded in May of 2024. Because now we're looking at a shortfall. That
Well,
again,
I'm not saying I disagree with you.
we're not getting things done that need to get done. This is costing way too much money, so therefore other projects, like the 3 that are listed as not yet bid, because that's been in several of the minutes. You know, we can't do them now.
Let's let Trevor finish.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Really, that's all I don't really have for bond projects unless anybody has any other questions.
Are you doing the engineering reports for the 2 subdivisions, the small, from September 12th and 22nd, or the James?
No, I did those. These, the service evaluation letters, they're attached to the back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we gonna be impacting customers at either end of the current customers, if we connect these? No pressure losses, no issues, and the line over here is one Sally and Sam in the corner. Okay.
That's why that report is done, that's why that has to be, to make sure that
Trevor, you got 5 of those reports and you gave to me last meeting for me to look at, because I asked you to.
Okay.
And then some of these proposals, you state a cost, and some of them you don't state a cost. And I just was curious what the difference is.
Some of those that I gave you
Because
last.
the way they ask it?
Yeah, sometimes if a developer, you know, if we get in a situation where, sometimes I'll look at them and we just say, no, there's no water lines within miles of you guys, that. Or sometimes, you know, a developer will ask me, well, how can I get water? And I'll just put together a quick cost estimate. So if you extend this 8-inch line 6,000 feet.
So it depends on how they ask it.
Pretty
Letters
much,
that I
yes,
don't have.
Yes, sir.
We only see the letter you gave.
Yes, sir. And then some of those were from older when, because there was a time where we put together costs and Walnut Creek actually did the work to extend it, and, you know, the developer paid Walnut Creek back, or, so that's not the way to do it anymore, but yeah, some of those, just depends on how the developer asks for a report. And these two, so you have water lines right there in front of them, so there's no need to extend. They would just connect and they would put their own pipe in the ground.
So, just to drill down a little bit, you do an engineer's estimate on the amount of water that this subdivision is gonna utilize, and the capacity that you have in the area. And that amount of water is mandated by the state of Texas at a minimum amount, right?
Yes,
0.61.
0.6 is the TCQ minimum, but Walnut Creek some years ago got a variance to go down to 0.48. But I always calculated 0.6.
But that variance you have to apply for yearly, from my understanding.
we calculated 0.6 anyway.
Yeah, we do everything.
All the calculations.
So you do a calculation at 0.6, so that does not include them watering their lawn and then doing whatever.
We don't do engineering calculations based on,
That's our problem.
that is a problem, yes. Because engineering wise, you cannot predict that. It's impossible. So we just do it based on domestic use.
Essential.
Yes.
Domestic use is typically 150 to 200 gallons per person, and if you're talking about a typical single family home, you estimate that at 3.5.
So it's very easy that you do the minimum required by the state, which is by law. That's all we have to do, right? And then that area, they use 2 to 3 to 4 times more, and they run out of water, and they have water restrictions, and they go into, right?
Yes.
That's the problem.
Are we able to bump that number up legally when we do these reports?
I mean, I can put whatever number you ask me to. You
But
know,
there's no way to know.
There's
That's
no way to
an
know it.
arbitrary number.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just pulling something
arbitrary.
out and saying, okay, this is what we're gonna say.
You know,
And that's not.
the gallons per minute per household.
I'm just
you know,
pointing out that's the problem,
Right,
that we consistently see.
right. Yes.
Doing what our peak, let's say in her subdivision, what's the peak gallon per minute?
In the subdivision
Just
itself,
that,
I would have to figure it up house by house,
yeah.
so I don't know.
I mean, I can tell you domestic.
Is there not a, you know, when an engineer does a structural analysis of an element, he's going to, figure his load capacity based on in-bearing, based on lateral, whatever, he comes with what's required for this element to
Like a J calculation?
sustain, right? So you do the same thing in water, you do all your engineering calculations to sustain this amount of water, you need this, and the pumps, and the lines, and all that goes into your estimate. In the structural world, we put a safety factor on that of 3 to 5, okay? Do you also do a safety factor on that, or is it just, it's just?
Across the board, and that safety factor is kind of built in from TCEQ's.
That's in the 0.6.
There, that and, you know, if you're trying to get basically total gallons per minute per household, you know, they say, okay, 150 gallons per person. It's,
That's ultimately the problem.
yes.
So,
Of all the questions that we get asked and we get emailed, that's the problem.
so are we not able to look at the subdivision that's being created and kind of base it off of, okay, this subdivision is gonna be a golf course, basically?
You can't wrap your arms around an arbitrary.
Some people use 200 gallons a month. for
Engineers
water.
don't do
Some people
arbitrary.
use 15,000 a month.
No, I wasn't saying that, if we know what the developer's gonna be putting in there. We can, I understand it's still the giant variable,
Yeah, you're still working with an arbitrary number that is a,
but it's better than the minimum number.
I mean, I could put a safety factor in that stuff and multiply it all by 4 or 5 or whatever. But if you're starting to do that, your infrastructure would be impossible. Oh, you would never be able to pay for it or put it in something.
Exactly, that's
Yeah.
ultimately the problem.
Yeah.
That the customer doesn't
I
realize.
mean, you would have to be pulling water out of Mexico
Right.
just to have enough water. It's,
That's what needs to be made aware to the customer.
yes.
I think they're aware.
No, I don't,
We don't.
based on the emails I get.
We'll put that in a monthly,
That's what the advisory board,
frequently asked questions in a monthly.
that's what I'm talking about. And we do that, don't you have frequently asked questions on the website?
We do have some
We do.
frequently asked questions on the website.
Maybe
And when
we
they
need to
ask me,
broaden that.
you know, when I get questions, I tell them it's engineered off of the numbers we're given by TCEQ to the numbers that we have to supply.
A lot of these customers want, agenda items addressed at the board that deal with that. And we know the answer, we know the answer, but they don't know the answer. So, it's
What I mean
frustrating.
is they're aware that there is a certain amount of water you can use.
I'm
No,
like,
you would-
something comes in the supply, you turn it
Yeah,
on.
endless supply.
It just
And-
never stops.
and sadly, I
I'm
don't,
just paying, I ought to be able to pay you whatever I wanna pay you. I got whatever, you know,
well,
some people.
and sadly, dude, some people think of it that way. There are people, I get customers that call me and they're mad because we charge them for water and we get it for free. I have to explain to them that we get it for free.
I guarantee you, the people in Bittersweet Springs totally understand what,
No, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, these are scenarios that do happen.
we get it from y'all, and on the backside, we have the CCRs, that if we don't comply, we don't uphold the CCRs, we will be fined. And that's every new development since 2020.
That
It's a catch-22.
That's a problem for the state representative.
Yeah,
You
I
want
mean,
to
they're the
complain
ones,
about
they're the
something,
only
you
ones
go to
that
the
can,
state representative and get that fixed.
if you can get
That's
them
something
to.
you can't fix here. We can't do anything about that. It's.
Can't make a law for it.
That's what I knew the answer to all these questions. Bring it
Baited
up.
him in there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Thank you, Trevor.
Easy target.
Okay. Item F, legal and professional reports are not applicable at this time, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes,
So general manager's report.
all right. Mr. Dave, will you update us on the meter project, please, sir?
So pretty much all of the collectors are online.
Explain collectors.
The collectors is how we collect the reads, we send them to the office, so we don't have to send a truck or a person out to read the meter. So we're looking at solar powered ones in areas where we don't have infrastructure or there's not infrastructure present. We would just stick up like a telephone pole or, and then put a solar powered collector on it. It's not as big of a collector as the ones that have a,
What do you mean by not infrastructure? Not electric lines?
no, like our infrastructure.
Oh,
So,
our-
We have to have something to put it on.
yeah, it has to be so far off the ground, 35 feet's the shortest, I
Okay.
believe.
What collectors, where do you need those collectors?
Oh,
In
there's several
various
areas,
places.
it's,
Anywhere near mine?
no,
You gonna rip my telephone pole?
no. No, the problem areas are right over to the
It's like around Paradise. and
Paradise
Coral.
area and that sort of thing. Your area will read off the Agnes tank. So it,
Oh, you can put them on this.
yeah, we can put them on our tanks, but we have some problem areas that they're not picking up off of our current infrastructure. Those areas will have to put poles up,
So you
put these
You
on.
need a pole.
Yeah.
Tower or something.
Yeah, we'll
Like
put poles
a
up.
cell tower.
Yeah, we're working with the company to get those poles.
There you go with that. You're in.
Yeah, but we're working with the company to get the poles, you know, we're also working with landowners who will let us put the poles.
Yeah, I think the state went to rent a spot.
Well, some of them don't want anything, some of them want, so it depends on what they want. They haven't given me anything in writing of what they want, any of them yet.
Have you tried calling like Sarah Networks or Nextlink and tried to get that off of their towers?
Well, the problem is their tower's not where we need.
I don't know where,
No, that's what I'm saying, we're in very rural spots, and their tower, we need something to get into that area, not just far away from it and try to pick it up. That's, we're going right over the top of it with our current, so we need to get something into it to pick that up.
Yeah, so we've been in talks with Community Water to try to put a collector up on the battery of tanks they have on 730. Because that's one of our problem areas over there. It's on the outlying area of the system.
So that pick up down Knob Hill Road and everything close to there.
Yeah, pick up the neighborhood that's off 730 Brighton Oaks.
Yes.
So we're talking about money again?
Well, yes, but it's not near as expensive as what, we're not talking about expenses here. This was into our budget. This is part of our budget for installing all of this. Part of our meter budget that we're working with. We're not adding to the budget for this.
What color are they gonna be painted?
School bus yellow.
That liability, give his approval.
Well, what color is-
What color do you want them?
I'm colorblind. What color is the building right now?
Brown.
It is the exact same color as the other pump station.
Ah, okay.
So it's like a brownish red.
James, if you go with precinct 1, it has to be school bus yellow. Just saying.
No, the same color as the tank would be fine.
We could probably make that.
Boys.
Hey, I know where you're getting. I come over and paint your barn,
Thank you. I will grab.
You'll see how you like that.
What else, yesterday?
That's pretty much it.
How are we looking percentage wise on getting the meters changed out?
They're still trucking right along, and, they're starting zone 2.
Okay, so which zones are finished?
3.
3 is
and
finished.
Most of 4.
And most 4 are going into zone 2. Okay. Anything else you have questions for us today?
No.
So what this will do, will free up our meter readers to do other things, because the district's large, and right now, we jump through hoops. This will free them up. They'll still go to meters. They'll do maintenance on meters. They'll do maintenance on meter box. They'll do help with flushing, because right now we use one person to flush every dead end line to this system on one. We have how many?
Flush valves, total 537.
How many of those are automatics?
310.
Okay, so the other 200 are actually flushed manually every month. So it pushes it.
How long do they normally leave that thing turned on?
You know, it depends on what you get as far as a residual. You have to have minimum residual required by the state, so if it doesn't come up with that, you run it to the residual.
We can hook water up to it, and water our grass while it's flushing.
Well, that would be great, but TCEQ says that's illegal, so.
You can make yourself a little moat if you want.
And most of the time, it's not a zero residual or anything, but if it comes out a little bit low, we have to flush it to get to that point. But once a month, those get flushed. That is by law. And we're working on getting more autos. Though what those do is flush once a month, but they flush during the middle of the night. And you still have maintenance on them, but that way it's flushing during the middle of the night.
No questions.
Well, it's not as far as questions, but it's better to flush during the night. You don't have the usage going on that you have during the day. Therefore, someone's not calling that lives right beside it and saying, hey, my water pressure just dropped by 10 pounds, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
We put in 24 meter sets. Well, that was as of a week and a half ago. I was in conference last week, so I had to get this out before then. 50 meter change outs, 24 MIU units, since the last board meeting, 304 work orders. That's probably more like, probably 460 at this point from when I did this. 448 line locates is probably gonna be closer to 600 around that area. 2 water leaks requiring more water notices, those were attached. And the water line going around the Wise County project that was shut down is being put in the ground as fast as we can get it in the ground. They're working on it right now.
County easement?
Yes, we were able to get it out into the county easement. So, we're moving on that again. Any other questions for me?
Is Danny happy?
He's not complaining.
That's why we get done as quickly as we can.
Not complaining. Did you have a question about?
No.
Anyone else? We do a lot of work orders on line locates. Those line locates are very important. Right now, we have 2 people doing them every day. Am I correct? Well, we had 2, we're down to 1. We're trying to hire another. We had an employee that had. So, yeah, we work, it's usually 20 to 25, sometimes 30, work orders a day, besides our other work of putting in, taps and all those sort of things. And then line locates may vary. I've seen days that there's only 10, and I've seen days that there are 60. I used to do them, I understand.
Especially as dry as it is.
But, those are line locates for other people that do them.
That's just in the easement, that doesn't go on the private property.
No, we have to do it, if our lines on, we don't do the service lines, but we have a lot of lines that are easements on private that we have to mark. But, yeah, we don't mark service lines because we didn't put it in. Anything else, John?
anything. Is there any other business need to be brought forward this board?
Not that I know of, sir.
This meeting adjourned at 6:14.
Bill.
Yeah, I know where you're at. There's so many, I can't remember, I have to look.
Should have just like stood there and.
I did not call him because I didn't think anybody would be on my side. Y'all hang on just a second. No, he's there.
Last month.
I slept, I was complaining about that color.
Know what that, Bill got.
One thing resolved.
I know.
A single thing
I was so shocked when he brought it up.
except to find